Definitely. There are a lot. If you look at the fintech space in general, the fintech space is huge. If you look at London, a few years ago in London, you had, let's say, 100 fintech startups. Today, you would have, let's say, 1,000 fintech startups, much more than that. And if you look at where they are pretty much everywhere. You take any field in finance, be it banking, be it insurance, asset management, private banking, investment bank, you do have fintech startups pretty much everywhere. Which ones are interesting today? Because obviously there are so many. If you look in terms of funding, the startups that have the most funding so far are startups which are in payment and lending. Lending would be, for example, peer-to-peer lending, like Lending Club or SoFi in the US, like Funding Soko in the UK, for example. Those, I think, have revolutionized the way that we're looking at the lending world and will have an impact and will continue to have an impact. On the payment side, obviously we had the IPO of Square last week, we have Stripe, so we have quite a few companies on the payment side, which actually are quite linked to the banking system and trying to optimize the way that we do payments. So that's only two examples, but if you think of all the other examples, there are actually quite a lot. Some of them are very attractive, for example, SME and SME lending, SME FX transfer is a field which is very interesting because you do have obviously quite a lot of SMEs that do have quite a lot of need. And the more you can digitalize all of that, the easier it is for them. So you do have quite a lot of opportunities, I think, on the SME side. You do have also a lot on what I would call credit scoring. Credit scoring is something I like quite a lot because if you think of it from a conceptual standpoint, what is Google? Google is basically a way for someone to know all the things that you're doing online. Facebook is the same, but they know everything about what you do within your network. What is the equivalent in finance? It's credit scoring. It's the ability to know what you do from a financial standpoint and monetize it. So credit scoring for me is one of the key components where a lot of things will be built around that. And the best example would be Credit Karma, for example, in the US.